Hey, Rick, thanks so much for doing this today.
Hi, Leah. It's my pleasure.
Wonderful. Well, let's start at the very beginning, as we do in all of these. Tell us a little bit about Tactile Orthopaedics.
Yeah, great. Well, Tactile Orthopaedics is a company that I co-founded with Carolyn Anglin and Aubrey Blair Patterson in 2014. It seems like a long time ago. And it was stemming from the research that we had done together in earlier in the 2010s, really focusing on trying to, create models of bone and ligaments to learn how to do surgery better and to do surgery more safely. And we started off with spine, and then found that the knee joint was probably a better model to start working on. And so that's when it started and how it started. And since then, we've gone through a number of iterations, but over the last 2 years have really accelerated the pace and really become much more focused on the problem that we're solving and the market that we're approaching.
Terrific. And I understand you have 2 products. Do you want to tell us a little bit about those?
Yes, absolutely. We have a very high fidelity model of the knee. And, technically we have more than 2 products. We have a right knee and a left knee.
Right.
But we have, we started off with right knees, and we have a knee that's designed for surgeons to learn how to do total knee replacements, which is, a fake joint, basically. Yeah. And then we have another knee that allows surgeons to do arthroscopy or scoping of the knee joint. And this is the first model that has such a level of complexity and feel and tactile feel, of course, that really makes it feel for the surgeon like they're doing surgery on a real knee as opposed to a model knee.
Wow, that sounds very exciting. Sounds very cool. Let's do a couple of sort of basic questions as we move along. So how many years have you been in business then?
So we've been in business since 2014. But because we're scientists and researchers, we did spend quite a bit of time in sort of almost stealth mode to really ensure that the modeling that we had was true to life and that it actually represented what a surgeon really wanted to see and what they wanted to feel. And so that went through a number of iterations. And in fact, we really sort of date the company's start to around about the time of the pandemic. And the reason is that you can imagine that travel for surgeons to go to meetings to learn how to do knee surgery was severely limited. Right. And then there's the other thing that a lot of knee surgery is taught using cadavers. And so those things made it really difficult for medical equipment companies and for surgeon trainees to actually get the information and the quality of education that they needed. And that's when our company had a very complex knee available, and it was sort of the right thing at the right time. And we continue to see that that combination of factors really appeals to both equipment manufacturers as well as to surgical trainees.
Fascinating. That's great. It's great for you guys, for sure. Tell me how many employees you have right now.
So we have about 11 or 12 employees. We actually have a very strong program of having trainees come. We have interns, or in fact, there are actually work terms for engineering students. And so at any one time, we do have at least one intern who is doing a work term and who is sort of in their training. And this has also been a good sort of a confluence of factors in that at the University of Calgary, the biomedical engineering faculty actually became a department this past year. And so they're very keen on placing their students in industry, and obviously so that they can find a career trajectory that's interesting and germane to their training. And so we've had a lot of people coming through from the biomedical engineering faculty.
That's so cool. Amazing. Lots of cool things just sort of serendipitously happening. That's very exciting.
Well, being originally sort of a spin-off of the university, and then sort of working in a building that is sort of supported by the university, and then also having some investment from the university, we obviously feel that we're part of the innovation ecosystem around the university. And this is only a good thing for both us as a company, but also for the surrounding ecosystem within the university and then within the business community.
Yeah, and arguably the broader community from there. Wonderful.
Absolutely. Our surgeons do surgeries better.
Right? I mean, everybody wins when that's happening.
That's good. That's good for the general population. Yeah.
You got that right. Absolutely. Is that why you sort of wanted to start this business? Was that one of the motivations for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I've started a few businesses, and they've been related to healthcare. And I've always felt that that we have, as physicians, as clinicians, as researchers, we have a lot to offer to industry and to business. And the thing is to find the right fit of both doing something valuable to a business, but also something valuable to patients. And so teaching surgeons how to do surgery better, and not practicing in the operating room, but practicing in the lab, that appeals to my sort of sense of value creation.
Absolutely. Within our labs, we always talk about creating, meaningful human impact. When you think about that from the tactile orthopedics point of view, what comes to mind for you?
Well, I think that both the company creation as well as the effects of the company product are really important. We have this sort of interesting situation in that a lot of our employees are actually graduates of the local Alberta University for the Arts. And so both my kids are artists, and a big part of the value that we're hoping to provide, and I think we have provided, is really interesting jobs for people who have gone through a more creative artistic pathway. And the feedback has been that a lot of our employees who go down that pathway have now combined a social positivity to the work they do, as well as being able to use the skills that they gained through their art training. And so I think on a community level, that's really, really positive. And then I think that the other thing is that what we do really does enhance the care of people within the community. And that's a lot of the feedback we get from individual surgeons. So if we can do those things, we can provide a feeling of really strong social value to our employees, and then also provide some of that social value to our customers and patients, then this is a very rewarding process.
It sure is. It sure is. So let's think somewhere down the road. What's next for Tactile Orthopaedics?
Well, I think that like any business, we want to be strongly viable and growing. And I think we have the right team. We have a very experienced senior executive in the CEO spot, Bob Spence, and we have strong scientists on the team with Carolyn Anglin, and strong surgeons. And so I think we have the team to really grow our company and become the leader in high fidelity models and teaching of surgical procedures. We are almost finished developing a shoulder model that I believe is probably the best shoulder model available in the world. And we've had independent sort of confirmation of that from large teaching organizations. And it's clear that we have a strong platform that we could grow other functionality, and we are really strongly looking at how to integrate a virtual or mixed reality world into our very, very realistic modeling world. And I think that just opens up an entire different set of both business opportunities as well as educational opportunities.
So exciting. I can't wait to see what happens next. Rick, thank you so much for this today.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you for taking the time.